Hey guys, Lieutenant Dan here. I want to do a pretty quick video on all the things that I've been working on since the BBR tournament that was at the end of September. So it's probably, gosh, I don't know, 6-7 weeks maybe, but I've been, I really got inspired on getting a lot of things done with my setup. And, after playing with all the pieces at the tournament that were painted up and weathered, and it was just a really great experience. I wanted to get going on my thing. So in order for me to get to that stage where, I could start painting my pieces, I had to magnetize every piece. And man, I counted up, I think it was like 1,183 pieces that I had to magnetize. Yeah, 1,200. That's a lot. And it took me like, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks in total of just drilling and, taking it just step by step. Just doing some while I was watching TV or, whatever. But let me show you all the things that I've magnetized and all the different size magnets and maybe things for you to consider if you're thinking about going that route. All right, so here's what I've been doing for these last many weeks. So it's really revolved around getting the pieces ready for painting. So really my first step was to get every piece magnetized on my table. And I counted it up. It was like 1,183 pieces. So that's how many pieces I had to stick magnets in. And I use a lot of different sizes of magnets. I used a place called apexmagnets.com. And, I guess they're reasonably priced. But what I like about that site is that they had a lot of different shapes and sizes. And at the time, I didn't really know what sizes to get when I ventured off into the magnetizing world. But I did buy maybe 4 different sizes. I have this rectangular one here. This I think is a 2x1, and then there's a 1x1. You can maybe barely see it right there. I'll show you some examples of that. But so here, when I first started, or what you're really going to need is a way to drill holes. So on some of the pieces, you can just glue the magnet to the piece, and if you're using glue that's pretty sturdy, it'll hold on there. But a lot of times I had to drill the magnet in because I don't want the magnet mucking up the surface of the map. So a lot of times I use this glue, this super glue gel, Gorilla Glue. That's the best because it doesn't set up real quick, and it's kind of, it's a gel, so it can kind of fill in the hole and stuff like that to hold the magnet in. But nonetheless, so I use that for the most part on everything. And then I use different types of drills. So the most common one that I use was this hand drill. So, you just basically hold it in your hand, and you take the piece, whatever the piece is, let's say is this battleship. And I would just pick an area there, and then you can spin. You can hold this thing. It's only $11 on Amazon, but it truly ended up being the I guess really the one tool that I use the most. And the reason is because of the infantry. The infantry, if I look at the infantry, if you look at this, the base is pretty not too thick, right? And typically there's a recess in there, but the magnet I use, which was a 1x1, so it's really small. You can't just place it on the bottom there because it sticks out. And then if I were to move this around, you could actually feel that metal, scratching on the map. And obviously that's not good. So I had to drill a little bit of a hole in there to recess that magnet in. And so, you know, you think about that, well, there's a lot of inventory, right? So that took, oops, sorry, that took forever, but I plowed through it. I got it done. And I'm really happy I did. Early on, I used a drill press to put in bigger magnets in like tanks and ships and things like that. So here's like a ship with a bigger magnet in there. You know, early on, I didn't really know, but, you know, you don't really need to have these heavy duty magnets in there. Although it's kind of nice to like drop that thing in there and it really hooks onto the table. If you get too many on there, it's really hard to move around. But, you know, these are pretty good. Like this sub. What I like about magnetizing the sub, I put a real small one in there. That's like that 1x1, which is the same size I put in for the infantry. You know, everybody hates these subs, which, you know, they're pretty small. I don't really like them myself, but what's nice is you can just drop it on the table, and you know they don't flop over. So I really like that. So as I said, I use different sizes. I have like this rectangular one. I use the rectangular one a lot for the artillery because you couldn't really drill a hole in these things. So I would just put that rectangular piece in there, and it holds really nice. Even though the magnet doesn't even touch the table, there's enough pull to hold it on there. And I found that especially true for like the Italian artillery. I had to put this really big one on there because, you know, the only contact points are the wheels really, and I didn't want to put anything back here. So I just wanted it to be back there, and what's nice is it doesn't even actually touch the table either, but it really snaps to the table nice. All right, so here's an example of, I use this, here's a China artillery. You can see I'm already getting into the painting, but I'm not gonna get into that in this video, but you can see that magnet there really just blends in after it's all painted up. It just kind of looks like the piece, you don't even know it's there. All right. And then, yeah, and here's another type of different magnet. You can buy these at like a Hobby Lobby or somewhere. There's this circular, they're really thin. I don't even know if you can see that on this, but you know, it snaps on there. I have magnets on my convoy markers or tokens. So I just put a magnet there, put a little orange sticker to cover it up. Not that I really needed to. My damage, same thing. Just put a magnet in there and it snaps on the table. My my factories, air bases, and everything have either they have these. I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, there's a rectangular one in there. There it is, and snaps on there. I got a round one in there at the bottom. You see it at the bottom of the air base. That's on there, and then another one on the bottom of the naval base. So what's nice about the magnets is if you all have been following along, like if there was a bombing run that took place on this factory, you put some damage in there, and you put that down, and then that magnet snaps on there, and you can just pick it up. That's really nice for even doing like infantry or tanks. So, you know, if I had a bunch of tanks rolling in, I color coded the sides of the chip for the polarization for the magnet inside of the unit. So green is what should be shown up top, and then if that's true, then the unit will just stick right to it. So you can see you can pick it up and everything moves around really nice. So you're not, you know, chips aren't flying around. If somebody drops things, you know, everything's just kind of stuck together. Sometimes I had to be creative with the magnets. You know, like I said, you know, some of the pieces, like this one here, you can see a magnet there. There's actually another one underneath it, so I had to stack two magnets together, and then I just glued them in place, and then that for this Stuart tank, you know, it just snaps to the either to a stack of chips, or to the table. So it feels really nice. Also, I added some magnets on the top of my flight stand. So this is this particular flight stand is for a bomber. So if I were to get a bomber, I can get one here. Here we go. I'll grab this one. I can just pop it right on there, and it fits right on there nice. I can just pull it around. You see I got a magnet on the bottom of the flight stand, really low profile. I had a video on this, but I really like these. I played a game with Wildcat this past weekend, and I just really like them. That, you know, it's a very low profile. Like here's a bomber right here in Malta, okay, and you can just pick up that wire and move them around. Also, I have this calling them the scramble bases. You know, I put some wire in there, put some magnets at the ends of the wire, and then you can just snap the aircraft to them. And in fact, if what we were finding is that when we were in the Pacific, you could actually instead of picking the aircraft off of the base, you could just move the base and just swap it out with another base that didn't have the scramble wires on there. So that was kind of interesting. Let's see, what else? That's pretty much about it as far as the magnetizing. I think the most important thing on the whole magnetizing piece before I started painting is it's very, very, very important to make sure that everything was nice and smooth. So I would use sandpaper of like around 600 grit, and sometimes even finer. But so this is very smooth, and you know, we pop that down, you can move it around, and you don't really feel anything. So I would sand every piece, and I'd go through a quality check to make sure nothing was dragging, you know. So here's like a one on this. These are cool little explosion markers. Just jammed one in there. Anyway, so that's that. What else can I talk about as it relates to magnetizing? Really, all you're going to need is some type of a drill. Like I said, I bought this at $11 for Amazon. I did have a drill press that I did buy on the cheap at Harbor Freight to do a lot of magnetizing for the ships, for the tanks, because it was easy to create a jig to kind of hold them in place. Once you started getting into like the infantry and things like that, you know, I couldn't do the drill press. And I did play around with a Dremel, but it was just too much. And I also had a cordless electric drill, but it was just too much power. And so I found those not to be that nice to play with. You know, here's I actually stacked two big ones here because I didn't want to have a round on the bottom of my my oil derricks. So I just glued two kind of big ones together. So you can see they don't even touch the bottom, but they snap to the table really nice. Anyway, I got off topic there. Drill, so either a drill press that would help. And then this is the one that I really use the most. $11, $12 on Amazon. What else? A little bit of sandpaper, some of this super glue, and a ton of patience. Man, you got to like wake up and go, man, I wanted to like accomplish drilling and putting in magnets in 100 pieces at a time. You know, you just kind of grind through it.